I've seen people use their phone as microphones, and I decided I'm going to give it a try. Why not? Currently, my right ear is ringing, and I wonder what the message is. I wonder what the universe is trying to tell me right now. I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. Hey, what's up? I'm Kelly, the owner of this channel and the person who makes videos on and off. I kind of had a realization yesterday, and I wanted to sit down and talk about it because it feels important and kind of wanted to document it. So yesterday I was scrolling through my YouTube recommended and came across a video called 2 Things You Can Do for Rumination. I kind of forgot the name, but I'll show you here. And the word rumination really caught my attention. And I already know what the word means. So I was like, oh, rumination. That moment, it kind of clicked for me. And watching the video after the explanation, and I kind of just like sat there and I was like, I think this is the answer. I think this is what I've been looking for, So rumination. Rumination is a repetitive thought pattern that can be negative, focusing on the past, or anxious, focusing on the future. It is common in people with ADHD and can cause emotional distress. It's not the same as overthinking, which is when someone excessively thinks about simple things before taking action. That's kind of like what clicked for me. I'm like, my problem isn't overthinking, it's rumination, right? Like, yes, I am worried towards my future and what it is it holds for me, because I don't know. Nobody knows. But my problem is that for the past 5 years, I've been holding on to the past, and I've been stuck in the same loop of regrets, things I could have changed. What if I hadn't done this? What if I hadn't done that? Where would I be now? I only feel that way because I thought I'd be in a completely different place than what I am now. I have these thoughts of everything leads you to where you're meant to be, right? Like everything led me to here. This is where I'm supposed to be. And thoughts like that are hard because I know this is where I'm supposed to be. Everything that I've done in life in general, and not just the past 5 years, has brought me here. But when you're not happy in that circumstance, it's kind of hard to accept. So my problem now is I'm ruminating on the past and things that could have been different, but they aren't. Puts me in such emotional distress that this is something that it's kind of been a few years now, I'll be honest. I would say the whole past 5 years. And why am I focusing on the past 5 years that's kind of like, that's basically the catalyst of my adult life, of my injury and other things, but mostly it's the injury, right? And I don't want to go into that, but the point is that my injury is a big catalyst in my adult life and the life that I live now. Even aspects before that and after that, of course, are still a part of the 5 years that I rethink and wonder what could have been different. And that's just, it's no way to live. It sucks. I'm going to tell you that it sucks. And for a while I've been like, I'm overthinking it, but it felt deeper than overthinking. It's like, why am I overthinking so much? Why am I overthinking in the past? Like, that's what I was trying to like figure out, but like it didn't click. Like something about it isn't clicking and I don't know why. And it wasn't until yesterday when I ran across the word rumination that it did. It happens to me often, rumination, more often than I would like. I go through cycles where for a few days, a few weeks, I'm okay. One trigger can happen and it just brings me back to a spiral, and then I'm like back to the beginning and it feels like all of that time was wasted, or that the time that I felt good wasn't real, or something like that. I had a moment yesterday and I didn't have a physical trigger. I had an emotional and mental trigger. And that brought, oh my God, I went down a huge spiral. I was like, you know what? Like, I can't sit in these thoughts. I'm actually going to sit down and write in my journal. And I thought it was going to be quick. I thought it was going to be a quick writing session, and it ended up being a half an hour. I just let the emotions out. I did feel better. The problem that I face is that I really don't believe that I feel better. Like, I feel better in the moment, but what about the next moment? What about an hour from now? What about tonight? Those are the things I think about. Today I'm okay, but what about tomorrow? And it's really hard for me to trust that moment that I'm okay because I don't know what or when the next trigger will be. And then I worry that maybe I won't be able to handle it. But I can handle anything, right? I don't know. Maybe. So this is what I wrote in my journal. The upsetting news is that I can't change the past. The good news is that it doesn't have to matter. Yes, I have these circumstances, but I'm doing my best with each day. That's also another moment it kind of clicked for me, that it's sad that you can't change the past, but the past doesn't have to matter. You can just move on. And the only option is to move on. There's no changing it. I can beg, plea, pray, cry until my eyes pop out of my head, begging the sky to bring me back to a specific moment. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. So the only option is to move forward. How do I do that? And I only ask, how do I do that? Because I live in a constant cycle of being okay for a little while and then I'm not. So I started reading the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. Seems like a good first step, but I've read a lot of self-help books that now collect dust or take up space on my iPad. You can only do so much with reading self-help books, in my opinion. They only do so much for you. They inspire you in the moment, but then real life kicks in. I always end up here where I tell myself, I'm done. I'm done feeling this way. I'm ready to move on. I'm going to move on. And then I'm back in the cycle. That's what I'm mostly afraid of. But it's funny because I had this realization yesterday, and last night I had a dream. So I had a dream about a particular girl I used to be friends with. And I say girl because she's relatively younger than me. This is someone that I miss, like right now. My dream self, well, let me give you the outline of the dream. We were like at a get together. We were sitting at a table together and we weren't necessarily talking, but we were sitting across from each other. I want to talk to her. Now is the time to like really have a heart to heart with her, see where it is she's at so she can know where I'm at. And she's like looking at me. She's kind of like giving me side eye. And I don't know if it's a good side eye or a bad side eye, but it feels like a bad side eye. And it kind of looked like a bad side eye. And I'm like, all right, she's giving me looks. I should go and talk to her. So she leaves the table and she goes to sit down like on a love seat or couch or something. And I go to her and I like bend down in front of her. Don't know why. Like she's not a kid, but she's younger than me. I asked her, I said, hey, are we still friends? And she said, not really. And I don't really remember what I said next, but the only thing I know is that my cousin, Alexis, came and interrupted us and started talking to the both of us. So basically like shattering the moment, and dream me was annoyed. I really want to have this conversation with this person and I want to put everything out on the table. I want to make sure her and I are still good. Dream Alexis knows that. Dream Alexis knows that I want to have this conversation with this person, but she's interrupting us anyway. Like, why? She sees us talking. Why is she interrupting us? So I was annoyed. However, that was the end of the dream. I woke up and I was thinking about the dream. Such a weird dream to have, especially with the moment I had yesterday. And I realized dream me was annoyed that Dream Alexis interrupted it. But I think that was my subconscious. My subconscious knew that I was ruminating and stopped me. It knew that this is someone from my past who hoping, like it's not really a hope. Like, yeah, sure, if it were to happen in real life, yeah, that'd be cool. But I'm not like striving for this conversation with this person, even though like I do actually miss them. My subconscious knew that I was ruminating and stopped me and just was like, we're gonna hold off on this. You don't need to have this conversation. And then I woke up. And I think that's so weird that happened. And what's funny is during that moment, I started ruminating and I started thinking about this person. I'm like, why didn't this happen? No, did I do something wrong? Just going through it. And I said to myself out loud, I said, you're doing it now. Come back. And I pulled myself out. I've never done that before. I wasn't in the same place that I was before then. Like I was really in the memory before I pulled myself out. And I had never done that before. I don't know what made me do that then. Maybe this realization that I had is different. And maybe this time is for real. That's another thing. Memories aren't supposed to make you sad unless they're sad memories. Looking back on your life and how it's so different from what it is now and being sad about it. Like, I'm getting choked up now and I'm ignoring it. Yesterday, I had asked myself, what now? I think I kind of have my answer. I'm going to try to not be afraid, but I can feel myself overthinking this process. Everything has led me here to this moment. The past 5 years have not been easy. That's okay, because it hasn't been easy for anyone. Finally have the tools that I need to move on from this. And I thought one major component would be therapy, which it is, but I'm kind of afraid to get things with my insurance and they don't cover everything, so I can't be having all of these bills, which I already do, that I'm not going to pay. I wanted to talk about it so that, I don't know, I kind of wanted to start doing video diaries, and maybe this is my first one. But right now, I feel okay with what I know. I'm feeling good about this right now, and I'm going to let myself feel good about it. I want to be positive about it, and try not to be scared of any cycle that I may run into, because, whatever. Because healing isn't linear, guys. You've heard that before, right? I've heard that so much, and I know that's true. But at what point am I going to stop crying? So this feels like a good first step, and talking it out also really helps. So yeah, that's kind of it. I hope you are all doing well and are healthy and safe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.